All right, let's see what Annie has for us.
I've been thinking about the fact that black cat energy has always come so easily to me and why no man has ever been able to like successfully get me hung up on them. And I'm thinking truthfully, it's because of the fact that no man has ever impressed me before. Like any guy I've ever met, even if they have a ton of followers on Instagram or they're really hot or they're successful, I'm not impressed by anybody, dude. Literally, I was talking to a pilot who lives in Miami who travels to all of my favorite places around the world, like Egypt and stuff like that. And he was so excited to take me on all these trips. And he was the kindest man. And he wanted to fly me out to Miami, like so many things. And even that type of treatment, I was like, and like I can do this stuff for myself. Like, what is so exciting about you? Then just like that, there it was. I think it's because of the fact that I'm so aware that anything a man could give me, I could give myself first. Dude.
Okay, well, this is your biggest problem, right? Girls will complain about how guys don't want to do things for them. And then what they do is they get a career and they start working, make a bunch of money, and then they do it for themselves. And now they complain that there's no point in having a man because they could do it themselves. It sounds like man hating rhetoric, if I'm being honest. I think this girl just probably got broken up with by some guy, started hating men, and now she's just doing a I hate men post because apparently every guy is unflattering. I mean, whatever. Make it make sense, right?
I think when you unlock that feeling, nobody can impress you. What is a man gonna do that you can't do for yourself? And if you have this mindset of like, oh, I need a
Well, there's a lot of things. For example, protect you. You obviously can't protect yourself because you need men for that. Offer some sort of stability, of course, right? Girls are normally extremely chaotic, so you can sit there and pretend to the camera that you don't like the presence of a guy, but truthfully, every girl does on some level. Now, she could be in total denial and she can hate men and be traumatized or whatever and then not want a man in her life. But a man is always going to be a beneficial thing to a woman's life because men just offer way more value in relationships than women do. That's just the reality. Okay. So you could say that you could provide it for yourself, but for you, deep down, you prefer it when a guy does it for you instead of having to do it yourself. Okay. You probably are trying to imply that the baggage, quote unquote, attached to it isn't worth it. That's probably what you're trying to refer to because guys in general aren't worth it. So, I mean, in the end, this is just an emotional hit piece, but it's fine. Let's just keep going.
man to be happy. Oh, I need a man to pay for my things. Oh, I need a man for literally whatever. I think you might always struggle a little bit with codependency and feeling like you need somebody because girl and boys, one thing about me is I need nobody. Even when it comes down to friends, you guys, I'm so quick to
Well, it's most likely because you're extremely masculine, for being honest, right? You can say that, but even then, the statistics don't show what you're saying. They don't prove it, right? Most girls are extremely unhappy when they don't have family, friends, social connection, right? Especially in the form of relationships specifically. So you can come here and say that girls can do it, but clearly they can't, and not well anyway, right? And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think desiring family is totally okay. So once again, emotional hit piece doesn't really have that much logic or sense. It kind of just sounds like, look at me, I'm empowered. And then she probably cries in the background when no one's looking, right?
cut off friendships that are not serving me because even if I had zero friends, I'm cool with it. So now these days,
That is such bull. You know that this girl is not living in pure isolation. You just know it. Okay. Girls never live in isolation because they have abundance. They have abundance of social options, abundance of uh, guy options. They live behind the obvious abundance, right? Because people in general desire good looking people. And, you know, to her credit, I mean, she's cute. Her personality sucks, but she's good looking enough that she probably does get that kind of attention, right? So she can kind of hide behind this and say, I don't need nobody because she knows deep down whenever she wants to have somebody, she can have them whenever she wants. Okay. So it's total fantasy. It's sort of like the rich guy, right, who's born into an extremely rich family who has a trust fund who says, yeah, I mean, I don't have to really worry about money. You know, I never have to worry about survival. It's like that guy talking to a poor person and saying, oh, well, you know, why don't you have food, man? It's so out of touch with reality. It's honestly a little bit ridiculous. Okay. Yes, I'm glad. I'm glad that you're a little bit attractive and you have all the different people around you all the time that you could want. including friends and guys, right? That make you feel that you're so empowered that you could be by yourself when you want to be. But let's just be honest about it. The only reason you act this way is because you know you can have those people beside you whenever you want. If that abundance wasn't there, your attitude would be entirely different. Okay. And let's just be honest about it as well. The abundance you do have, it's not like you really earned that abundance. Okay. That was just God given. That's most likely what it is, right?
I have just a couple of really, really, really good quality friends. Guys, I don't give a shit about the quantity in my life. But I hope that this makes you realize that you need to provide for yourself first.
Yeah, so but when it comes to the quality over quantity, on that point, I actually fully agree with her. I think it's actually really important. It's better to have a couple friends that are really, really good instead of having, thousands of friends that are just surface level, right?
Whether that's love, attention, gifts, trips, whatever it is, provide for yourself first so that when a man shows you these things, it's not like, oh my God, sorry, I'm sorry, but the
Yeah, so it's all about power for you, right? All you care about is the power of it. So when a man shows you these things, you're not flattered by it. I mean, what kind of world do you want to live in, right? It's extremely unflattering, to be honest. The guy does it for you, not necessarily just because he wants to win your affection, right? What if he actually cares? And now you're going to sit there and be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. What kind of guys are you dealing with, right? Guys that just want to buy your affection? I mean, look, I understand there's a lot of guys out there that are willing to just buy affection, right? But the problem is when the other guy comes in and doesn't want to buy your affection and demands some level of respect, you're not going to give him that either. So, I mean, just die alone. You don't seem bothered by it. Die alone then. Most women don't want to die alone, okay? So if you want to, go ahead. That's fine. We all know it's not true.
only person you should be looking at like that is you.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Self empowerment, self empowerment. Look at this. Oh, yeah, I'm so happy. I'm so happy by myself. Happy girls do not look like this. They just don't. That's just the truth. They don't look like this, okay? So she can preach whatever she wants online, like a lot of girls do. They come and preach, just like that girl that came on recently talking about how sad it is being a single mom or whatever. Perception isn't reality. For you, it might be. For you, it might be, but for everybody else that tries to live in reality, like the few guys that are watching this channel, it doesn't work this way, okay? So we know and you can see through your we know these are just lies. You know, you come on social media to feel good about yourself for about 10 minutes, then you go back to being sad about your life or whatever you have going on. Because this is always how it works. You can work your entire life, and that job will not satisfy you. It just won't. Maybe now, because you just got your first job and you're young, maybe it'll work for a couple years. Eventually, you'll get ground down and you're going to wish you did things differently. And we see this all the time. And our particular generation, well, my generation, especially and generation after me, they're going to be seeing a lot of these types a lot of these types. So be ready. Be ready with the cat bags. If you like my content and you want to support me, make sure to check out my Patreon in the description below. I have a bunch of private content there and you get to interact with me.